How's it going, everybody? Jake here, and today we are upgrading my Charvel Model 3. So if you watch my channel, you've definitely seen this guitar and you know it is one of my all-time favorite guitars. Well, today we're going to do a few upgrades to it. So I originally bought this guitar with a Dimebag Darrell pickup in it, and I really hated it, but the guitar was such a good deal, it's like you can always swap the pickup. So a few months later, I found a pickup from a late 80s Charvel guitar, and I put that in it. So it's got the same covered EMG look, even though it's passive. Well, a few months ago, one of my subscribers, all the way from England, reached out to me and said, "Hey, Jake, I have an original Jackson J90C pickup," which is what these guitars had originally in them, and he said, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, thank you so much." So a huge shout out to my subscriber, Robert, for sending this pickup all the way from England. It took a few months to arrive, but it is finally here, and I'm real excited to throw it in. Also, these guitars came with a fairly cheap trem called the Jackson JT6. I actually haven't had too much of a problem with it, except on this one, the bushing where you put the bar in can only be tightened by a bolt on the underside of the Floyd rose. So if it comes loose, you have to take out the Floyd rose and tighten it. Well, that bolt is just about worn out, so the bar is almost useless. And you can pretty much put any Floyd in place of these because it's the exact same dimensions and you should be good to go. So I went out and bought a licensed Floyd rose trem. And I know what you're thinking. So the guitar has a cheap trem, so you went out and bought another cheap trem. Well, I was curious because the main issue on this one, once you set it up, is just the bar comes loose and then, you have to reset the guitar up every week. Well, these have the bushing where, of course, you can just tighten with your fingers, and I'm very curious if you set it up properly, is a licensed Floyd Rose really all that bad? Well, we're gonna find out, so let's do this thing. Alrighty, so first things first, we're gonna take the strings off and get this pickup out of here. Another reason I'm really happy to get rid of this trem is pretty much all these bolts, it's such cheap metal, they're pretty much all stripped. I also don't really like the fine tuners down here because these ones are so rusted that they barely work and they're really hard to get into with your fingers, so that's another reason I'm okay with putting a cheap Floyd on just for that upgrade alone. As you can see, I got the black one to replace the original black one. Standard screw-in bar, which is the main thing I wanted. I believe I got the R2 nut because it was cheaper. The R2 and R3 relates to the nut size when you're buying these, but I'm not changing the nut, so I just bought the cheaper one because I'm a cheapskate. Simple enough, you got your Floyd Rose, brass block, fits right in there, and instructions, but who needs those? Instructions, what are those? And all your hardware. I like the look of it so much better with the fine tuners on top. I don't know why that is. Like I said, I've never had too much of a problem with these trems, but these fine tuners, especially on mine, are just so rusted they barely work. So I'm really hoping that even though this is a extremely cheap Floyd Rose, I still hope it works. Which I have a feeling, honestly, if you just spend some time and set most of your Floyd Roses up, usually they're fine. So let's check it out, let's string it up, and hopefully not get too frustrated. For all of you that care, it's going to be D'Addario 10 to 46 gauge strings because I tune this guitar to a half step down, so I like to use a little bit tighter gauge. is, guys, the Floyd Rose Special. I really don't think it's half bad. It wasn't that hard to set up. The big complaint is because it's all very cheap. You can probably hear it. Super noisy, so that's an easy fix with like some felt or something, but that's that's a little annoying and a little excessive. Other than that, I mean, I was obnoxiously wailing on it and it didn't really lose tune, so I think it's a pretty solid buy. These range from 80 to 90 bucks, so that's really not that bad. And you know, yeah, there's a few things you don't like, but for the money, I don't think they're that bad. Another huge shout out to my subscriber Robert for sending me that Jackson J90C. I really dig the tone of it, a lot better than that Charvel pickup, so a huge thank you. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. What do you think of the Floyd Rose Special? Let me know down below. Other than that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, throw a thumbs up on this video, and any comments, throw them down below. See you guys later.